vicious bits to the upside. But yeah, I think we all know that it's just a matter of, when is it going to happen and where is it going to come from? But Max, I saw you were making yourself blue over there.
I was gonna. Am I? I was.
He's cold. He's just cold.
What are you talking about? This is
Ice Max.
I was gonna ask you guys. I was looking at myself. I'm like, am I blue? Like, why am I blue?
Yeah, so now I'm purple. So
Whoa.
I got this new camera and it has like an app
no.
and I have to like adjust it to make it look normal. So that's good.
Looks very Max.
So
That sounds like a deal breaker.
yeah, I'm trying to figure out right now how to make it look normal. So we're getting pretty close though. And now I'm just having fun with the colors, but
Your brick wall is swallowing you alive, Max.
yeah.
You know who had fun this week? Not crypto traders, but equity traders definitely did. Stock markets closing they're probably going to close another day near all-time highs, at least on the NASDAQ. Maybe not on SPOOs, but definitely on the NASDAQ. Just buoyed by the strength of what's the thing they call them? The Mag 8 or whatever. The Magnificent 8. That's basically what's I see so much cope about. And I'm about to cope about the fact that I have to say this, but there's so much cope about the lack of breadth in the market. Still, I think people are just in complete disbelief that this market can move higher, just kind of on the back of NVIDIA and Apple and all that good stuff. So, oh man.
Well, Apple is new news. I don't care what anybody says. Apple is new news.
Look at that,
You need to
man.
understand that.
Jeez.
Who could have foreseen?
Apple.
Yeah, that's that. Like people are expecting that whole thing to retrace itself. That's not going to happen.
I don't know why that would retrace, man. That would be the biggest scam I think I've ever. That's a move I'd expect in crypto, not equity.
Do we expect that Bitcoin is going to basically catch up to stocks, or are we in some sort of ultra cope timeline where equities continue to rip in a very concentrated manner with the Magnificent 5 and everything else, including small caps and crypto, just refuse to move?
Hold up. Are
Look
we
what
is
happened.
Bitcoin right
Look what
here,
ha-
bro?
That's
Bitcoin
what I'm
right here?
asking right there. That's what I'm asking.
No,
That's what I'm
Max.
saying.
Max. Look what happened to BTC when it was at 25k. Back then, equities were ripping and crypto was lagging, and everyone was saying that crypto is never going to go up, the correlation is broken, and it's just equities. And then Bitcoin went from 25k to 74. And I think we are just lagging now, but we will catch up on it later on. But the thing is that nobody cares what happens to Bitcoin. Everyone cares what happens to their shitcoins.
It's true.
No, you're right, Jack. It's because everybody has kind of exclusively been in shitcoins. And this is kind of a dynamic we were talking about on yesterday's show where the swings in sentiment that we're seeing have been so extreme and aggressive, despite Bitcoin being in such a tight range above and around all-time high because of that, because people are sitting in assets that are, moving in a way that's effectively just trading 3 or 4x levered Bitcoin instead of just actually holding Bitcoin or trading Bitcoin itself.
We're bottomed. We're bottomed, fellas. There it is. We're about to just do what NVIDIA did, man. Look at that. What are we talking
Well, that actually looks like a good lineup.
That looks so clean, dude.
That does
so
look
clean.
That's what I was asking, Tucker, is like, are we just lagging and everybody's about to just be sidelined and coping and basically prematurely jeet their bags? Or is there any chance? Because, look at the Russell, right? Like, the Russell doesn't exactly look like the NASDAQ right now. You know what I mean?
No.
So is crypto more comparable to the NASDAQ? And it's just lagging, or is it basically like the ugly redheaded stepchild of IWM? And we're about
the Russell probably didn't like the Fed meeting the other day because the Russell severely needs rates to get cut, right? Because small companies need that. So that makes sense that it sold off probably a lot harder than like QQQ. Because yeah, look at QQQ. I would say we're more in here on crypto, right? We're more even in here, right? Somewhere in this like big leg up corrective phase, right? And like, I mean, if you look at Nvidia, it looks like we're really like right there, you know. So, I mean, that looks pretty similar to the Bitcoin range, right? Like you have
What
this
was the
big
timing on that, Tucker?
deviation.
How many days from like the start of that range until when it actually like broke up?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the timing, I don't know about the timing. The timing might be different. It broke after 76 days. So
Right
obviously,
now, Bitcoin's is like 105,
Yeah,
give or take.
yeah.
So I mean, it's close, right? But
but the structure looks so similar. It looks crazy similar. Like even the deviation, like, and then you have this little like shoulder. People think it's probably going to come all the way back down to range lows, and then you just rip. So we could be right there, right? Like June 21st, man. June 21st. I've been saying it.
Too much confluence.
Even the deviation, bruv. I mean, what are we talking about here? You know, right there.
Tucker, there was another fractal you were comparing Bitcoin to a couple streams ago.
Who, me or Tommy?
Yeah, no, you. And then
was
it
there another
like,
Tucker here? Come on now.
It was Apple. We were looking at
Was
Apple.
it Apple?
Yeah.
No,
remember?
no. I think it was another. It was Bitcoin. It was a Bitcoin fractal. Maybe it was around 25K or something like that.
Oh, Bitcoin.
Where we
Was
kind of
it
had
the
similar.
Apple fractal, Louis? Was it Apple like 25?
No,
to
it was
30K
Bitcoin compared to Bitcoin. I think it was around 25K.
It might have been that one.
Yeah,
one.
I think he's talking about the 25K all the way down from 25K.
I don't know. I think it was this on a lower time frame. I do. I think it
Yeah,
was
that
this.
one
Oh,
does
Tucker,
look-
Tucker. I think it was like if you zoom in on where we're at currently, like zoom way in on it, maybe like 12-hour or less, like
Yeah.
that
Oh,
range
that.
right
Yeah,
there
yeah,
being
yeah.
like 25 to 30K Bitcoin.
Okay, okay, I got
think
you.
Because we got even a similar move where like we kind of
that. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that what you were talking about,
see where
Louis?
see where we had that big drop on the left, and then we kind of went up and then straight down, G'd down again, chopped sideways, and then started the move. Like that's exactly what we're getting right now.
Like you held the floor there, right?
Yes.
And then, yeah, even this is what I was talking about. Even this.
That yes,
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
that was
You
like
know what I
the
mean?
FOMC. Yeah.
And then you came back here, and literally all of us even were like, all right, 19K, 20K, whatever. And then you just started doing this grind up. And then you had Cointelegraph intern right here. Everyone
You remember
remembers
the
that.
CME gap at like 22K that we all really wanted to fill?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, I wanted that so badly.
Well, and we had the
I was like, not gonna happen.
we had the Bybit wick, which was like down here,
Yeah.
and that didn't get filled either.
I wanted that Bybit wick, and I wanted that CME gap, and then I was cool with up only. But then
It would've been
eventually I
too-
realized at 28K I realized it wasn't happening, and then just shoved.
Yeah.
But-
Well, dude, it would have been too clean, and that's why I'm saying like this is the only inefficiency left in the range. Like this would be too clean. That's what I'm saying. Like either we bottom here or
So
we
that's
front.
64K.
Yeah, like 64K, like the middle of that FVG, 64K. Like I'd say either we do this, we bottom here, or like we front run it at like 65K or something, right? But that's about as much as I can see. If we get the dollar to keep ripping, like I could see us like coming down here, and then everyone's like, oh, just $1,000 lower, and then we just rip.
This
So
is 1,000. I
Yeah.
love it.
I really don't think the dollar has that much left in the tank for higher prices.
Same here.
If they're going to dump crypto, I think they would do it. Like, I think they could do it this weekend so that the dollar doesn't have to like pump any further. But to me, that would signal essentially a liquidity hunt in crypto if we were to get some sort of scam over the weekend.
yeah, so basically, we're
DXY
saying there.
Top of the range for DXY is 107. you theoretically have to move to 110 to do a paradigm shift on DXY and say that it's in an uptrend again. You have to pop 110. If you don't pop 110, you're not back in an uptrend. You're still underneath heavy resistance that could roll very easily.
Okay, and this is also not to like come at this person, but this is also the sentiment we want to see. Is this sold all my shitcoins, tired of that, put it in Bitcoin. That's exactly what you want to see right at the bottom, man. That's just, I'm sorry, but that's perfect. It's perfect.
I mean, if Bitcoin moves, Alta moved, Altus would move more. So it's not a horrible play, but it's not the right time to do it.
Yeah, like I just wouldn't want to take risk off right here, So, but
Spot
yeah, it does look
Spot risk,
similar.
that is.
We could even
Look at Chip, bro.
the scenario that I really like. Actually, Jack has tweeted it out, and I quote tweeted it. It's like a little PO3 forming right here, which actually would nuke us just a little bit lower.
Yeah,
but that would certainly like anybody that's on the fence right now about being bearish or wanting to be sidelined or go risk off. That move down to 65, 64 would flip a lot of people bearish, in my opinion, at a really bad time. So I'm open to something like that. Not that it needs to happen, but if it did, I think you would see a lot of people emotionally capitulating at 65 or 64.
Yeah, I think
Tucker, Chimp's feeding into your inner demons.
is Chimp phone in here? Oh no, I sold my. He's capping, bro. He's capping.
No, but read the second comment.
He would never. Don't buy my. I own the JPEG now. Don't buy my puppet. Worst mistake of my life. Yeah. I mean, so this is what I would want to see for a PO3 would be like that's what I'm saying. Like even just down to like 65K, right? Like front run the whole FVG. You still get your PO3, and then
you're safe in the 64. I think people tend to always fade the strongest point in the chart, and that's your 50. If you were to do a Fibonacci real quick, Tucker, from high to low range of that, you'll see your 50 lies right at 64. Like it's nothing.
Look at what Todd just said, bro. Look at this, man. This is
Will, that's nice. What? I would cheat at 64. Bro, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, no, look at where the 50 is too. It's right on that line.
Right on the money. Right on the money. Exactly.
Yeah. And that front runs the whole. I mean, because the FVG is right here.
Yeah, that front runs the FVG.
Right. Nobody gets it. Maybe extend that down a little bit.
This is why when people were saying, 62, there's an FVG, I was just like, you're not going to get it, bro. I'm like, the 0.5 is going to keep you from getting it. It's going to resist it.
You'd have to go all the way down to like 63 to fill it.
Yeah.
But
the point being is that 0.5, you see it right there in the chart. It's a nailed move.
Oh, we are at the golden pocket. We're kind of sitting below it though, low key.
I mean, bro, look in the simplest of terms, man. Like we put in a deviation below 60K. That was our range low. That was an obvious range low. Now, after we reclaim that range low, we built all of that demand above the deviation. I would be shocked if we just like sliced through that. Like absolutely shocked.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of that right under your 0.5, Tucker, that's all demand that led to the expansion that we recently just had up to 72 or wherever we top. That right there is mega demand.
I was literally about to put it on the chart.
Study mega demand, bro.
Yeah, the buy up there was just it was so strong.
Study that.
The buy up there was it was ridiculously strong. This is why, like, when I told people before we even dipped into that, I was like, 60K is your floor. I was like, it is legitimately your floor. Like, they're not going to let price go below that demand zone, and they didn't. Right? Well, they did for like 5 minutes. My apologies. I don't want to offend JB. Okay, but they did for 5 minutes, but ultimately they ate it right back up. right? They allowed you to kind of get your toes wet. They let you see that the water was warm, and then they pulled the pool cover over. And it's like, all right, nobody's getting in the pool, and that's basically what happened there. With a Snickers sitting behind you on the lawn chair, that's all you were allowed to have.
What is happening, Will?
With that being said, though, like this is just where all the buys lie. All your buys are there. They're going to front run your low positions. You're going to be sitting there waiting for them. And again, if you're not leveraging, what the hell are you waiting for that low price for?
Oh,
Why?
bros.
What is that?
Okay, this is the Pi Cycle bottom EMA, right?
Oh yeah,
Like-
you're lining up.
It's lining up with quarterly VWAP at 65.
What are you gonna do if we dip below it? Support
Probably-
resistance ors.
Tommy, what happened here? What happened?
It did dip below though. He isn't wrong. It did dip below.
Okay, but then it bounced up like 10
Yes, it did.
grand.
Yep. And that's why I was saying like the 60K again. I
Yeah,
didn't
that's
expect it to break it either,
huge.
but it did.
Okay, that's the playbook, man. Look at that. So you jeet these, you come into the 0.5, and then you
Yep,
go
0.5,
and you
then
you
shoot.
front run the entire FVG.
Yep. And you shoot off it. Again, this is Tucker, go to the 25K zone. This is the 21K fill. This is the 21K fill all day. Like this is what
Yeah,
everybody's hoping to God that they fill.
This FVG that everybody wanted at 20 whatever. Where is it? Right here. Oh man, we're about to run it up so hard.
I do agree that these are the
Same thing, bro. Same
like
thing.
the liquidity below the range is the same to me as what you've illustrated, but I could still like I know we want that higher low into 64 65, and that's kind of what I'm expecting too, but I could still see a scenario where we wick down into like 60 or 61 with immediate buyback, just because open interest is so high and we've put it off sides. But I think the close would still be in line with kind of what we're looking at. But I don't think it should be surprising if we do get some sort of exaggerated puke on Bitcoin if they decide to continue to take it lower, because we are coming up against that level where, you know, like OI bulls have fought very hard to defend it. So it's either going to be defended or you're going to be,
All right.
be challenging it a bit more directly. And I think
Tom,
that would lead to a flush.
I have to ask the question, gun to your head. All right. This is okay. Snickers in front of you. Okay. All right. The question is,
Snickers in front of you.
what is
What is
the
that? What am I picturing?
what is the likeliness of the dip for you, percentage likeliness?
What dip are you referring to?
Like, do we
Is this
front
dip below
run?
demand?
Do we front run or
run?
do we overshoot?
Yeah. What is the? I want a percentage likeliness from you. You got to have a number.
A number, I would say, I don't know if I can give you like a percentage number, but I think I'm more in the camp that we overshoot it than we front run it.
Oh, Tom.
So like a 51-49 or like a 60.
No. I don't think we're breaking below this range. Absolutely not. I
So
think
you
like
think
absolutely-
61? No, he's saying percentage. He's saying
Yeah.
percentage.
Give me a percentage like that we go to 61 versus we front run this. And that's being fair because I'm giving you both sides. You can give a percentage on one or
It's
the
just
other.
like it's a 10% move down. I would say, just looking at my read on altcoins is that they're going lower. So I think it's like that chance over.
How much? You cut
60.
out there.
64
64.
that we
okay.
overshoot versus front run. I'll stay somewhat conservative because I am bullish, but
Okay.
I do think we could have some sort of like wick with slippage on Bitcoin. Just when I look at these altcoins, some of them literally look like they can mark down another 20 to 25%. And I don't know if 2 or 3% move on Bitcoin would cause that. Maybe it would, right? Like it very well could. We've seen it happen before, but no, I don't know. But I think I'm more in the camp of overshoot, grind back up, and then rip from there rather than higher low. Well, I guess it'd still be a higher low, but front run, grind up, and then send. But I think it's essentially still the same idea. And really the driving thesis behind it, Jackus was talking about it yesterday, was, when we've spent so much time transacting in the upper bounds of this range that it's given people plenty of time to position for a breakout. So something to take people out of the market a little bit more. It doesn't have to be a lot. Like, I don't think we're going to 44K, for example. We don't have, just because there's leverage doesn't mean you literally have to nuke all leverage to zero. That's what I think a lot of people get the wrong idea about, especially when they're bearish. But there is quite a bit of local leverage that I could see wicked out before that grind higher resumes. I don't think you can completely rule it out, but I don't think it should really impact your thinking with spot bags. It's really more of like, what do you think is going to happen over the next 1 to 2, 3 weeks even. But yeah, I'm kind of yapping, but I hope you guys kind of see my point that I'm getting across.
60-40. We'll stick to the numbers. Haggard, what's your percentage like with this?
That we overshoot versus front run?
Yeah.
I am going to be optimistic and say that
I'm putting 2 Snickers and a gun.
Yeah, I'm going to say we front run. Well, it depends on time. We got 1 week from today, we're going to go up. I'm telling you that much. So it just depends where we're at. But
June
I'm going to say we front run 70-30.
70-30. Okay. Max, what's your percentage?
I'm indifferent because I genuinely don't care. If we go to 64, I don't care. If we go to 74 immediately, that's great. I still don't care. Like, it just doesn't, it's not on my radar of things to give a shit about. Like, if it happens, I just, I will do no hedging. I will do no repositioning going into it. I'm riding my spot bags. I'm committed to these plays. I'm convicted to the upside. I could give a damn if we go to 64K. So I'm kind of just like, it's on my bingo card of possibilities, but to me, it genuinely does not matter to me. I recognize
that's the easy way out, Max. That's the easy way out. We got a gun to the head. Gun to my head. Do we go to 64K? No. What's the percentage chance that we front run what Tommy is talking about, 61?
Oh, I don't.
Well, no, we're talking about front running 64. I thought.
Yeah,
I'm not
64. Yeah, 64. My bad.
64.
We're talking about front running this FVG because that's not going to.
I just want to make sure I understand the actual question. What's the probability that I attach to us not going to that green box?
No. Okay, so Max, we're either going to do this or we're going to do this.
I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't agree with that.
That's what Tommy is. That's what.
Okay, but
I don't even agree that those are the two most likely outcomes. I actually think the most likely outcome would be a quick wick into the green box. So it's like
Max.
So Max is on the side of green box.
That's what everybody wants.
I'm on the side of the no. Everybody either wants 44K or straight up.
Nobody wants 44K.
I'm in the side of go to the lower time frames. Go like the 6 hour for me. This is what I think is going to happen. I think we either hold fucking here or we do a PO3 down and we just wick to 64K. And then all the bears take a victory lap and they say, I told you 44K is happening. And then we go straight up. That's what I think is going to happen. Okay. But I'm also like, to me, like, I just want to reiterate this. Like, I genuinely do not care at all if we went down a little bit lower. Like, it does not affect me at all. I will do no hedging. I will do no repositioning. I love the bags that I'm in. We can hold here. That's great. We could nuke down in PO3 to that 0.5 and wick into the green box or something like that. I still don't care at all. So it's like, it's for me, it's a silly question because it doesn't matter to me. Like, I'm more just here to talk like what could possibly happen. But it's like, it doesn't matter to me. Like it genuinely doesn't matter to me. Like, we're going up and we're going up soon. If they need to fill a daily FVG at 64.5 real quick, let them fucking fill it. Go ahead. You won't see me selling into it. I'm not going to be the guy that sells into that sells into demand. You know, you go back into to retest demand. I might even call up Tommy and structure a real nice juicy perps trade. First time I got back on the perpies in a while.
But
You know?
but people think they can buy demand, Max. They think that they are the market maker. Talking about
And Will, that's also where I think like we might not go to 64s, because I think that smart money recognizes that as a really, really solid level. So like just like I wanted 22 or 23 back in, what was that, Q4 or whatever.
Yep.
That was, in my opinion, that was an obvious level that clearly got front ran. So if there's truly enough demand here for Bitcoin, you shouldn't get that perfect fill. And in my opinion, 64K is kind of a perfect level. So I'm open to that as well. But it's like, I don't know which one is going to happen. And I don't care, because I know which direction this is resolving to, whether we hit that level or we don't. You know, altcoins are going to get absolutely murdered in the meantime, though, which is fine. But they're really reflexive. Like, look at, I think Tommy mentioned this. It was either in the Discord call or earlier in the show. I can't remember. Look at what happened to Pepe, you know, earlier this year when it nuked down like 63% in a couple of weeks. How quickly it snapped back. You know, like your alts are going to get murdered. If we go down a little, if Bitcoin goes to 64K, your altcoins are going to get, as Jacka says, the R word. It's going to happen. They're already kind of getting R worded. Like, it's bad.
Like
But
retailed?
yeah, they're going to get
Yeah.
retailed. But here's the thing. When Bitcoin snaps back and recovers, you're not, they're going to recover twice as quick as they dumped. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
So let's ask Jackus and then we'll ask Louis. All right, Jackus, what is your likely percentage?
Okay, here I'll pull it back up.
64 before 0.5, and then we'll move on.
I think that's Jack's base case.
Yeah, I think we drop to like 65.5 or lower and then higher.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, 65.5. All right, or lower and then higher. All right, and
I do
then
not
Louis,
think, just
Okay.
gonna add, Will, I don't think we can like drop to like 60.
yeah, I tend to agree. I don't think we get a perfect retest of the lows either. I think that's your poor people asking for 21K again, right? People begging for a retest of 21K.
I think if you retested the low of the range, people would absolutely be calling for 44K in mass.
They might be right at that point.
yeah, they might. He's not lying. They might be right at that point, and that's why I don't think it happens.
Here's the thing: in the video that Jackus and I did earlier this week, Jackus, you said something important. It doesn't even make sense to call for 44K right now because there's so many levels before that. Like,
Yes.
calling for 44K is like, it's like clickbait. It's like engagement.
That's
farming.
exactly
Like,
what it is.
if you're bearish,
Yeah.
you should be calling for 60K, range low. And then if you think that fails, then you go, all right, now I think we're going to go to 52. You know, like, to just call for 44K is so premature. Like, you need to play a little bit level to level, you know? So that's why I feel like it's a little disingenuous for people to just be like 44K, you know, because there's so much that would have to happen before that.
All right, Louis.
Yeah, that's amazing.
What
Yeah,
is
I mean,
your thoughts?
I've been saying for my base case the past 2 or 3 weeks has been that we do front run that FEG, that 62.8 to 64.5, 64.4. But I mean, right now on my how I have the range drawn, we're sitting right on median support right now. So I think today's close is going to be very telling. I think if we close today holding this median, I think we push up into the weekend, and that's the low. If we do lose this median today, going into the weekly close, I think it's more likely we do test that FEG. So I'm really basing it on how we close today and what we look like today.
Is this how you drew it?
No, I have I have that high, the all-time high as a deviation, and I have the range high at like 71.8, where we got those last 2 taps. So like pull the range high down to like those last 2 taps. Yeah.
What, like here almost?
Yep, and I have that high as a deviation, and I have the median right where we're at right now. And range lows I have a little higher up.
Where's 0.5? Yeah, look at that. That's clean.
So you're just ignoring the wicks, checking out the bodies essentially on the higher time frames, and then running. Yeah, and I think there's nothing wrong with that either. The 0.5 still kind of lines in the same area.
Yeah.
It's a little higher.
Yeah, so that's how I have it drawn. So if I think if we hold here, then I think we'll push up into the weekend. If we lose this, I think it's more likely we do wick down and fill that FEG. But like we're all saying, it's a very obvious liquidity zone. You know what I mean? So like I'm sure there's a lot of people waiting for that, which is why it's been my base case the past couple of weeks that we don't fill it. That normally when you get those obvious areas and you get a lot of chop and you get a lot of people waiting for it, most of the time with Bitcoin, it kind of front runs it and leaves a lot of people behind. That's what it's known to do. So still my base case is we front run it, but if we close today and we're below this median area, I might have to tilt a little more towards us like being more likely to fill it. But like Max was saying, regardless if you fill it or not, it doesn't matter. We're still in a range here. We're still consolidating. And I think the ultimate direction is up, and if we don't go up from here, and this is, the Bitcoin top that some people are calling for, we're going to be doing something that we've never done in Bitcoin history. So I'm going to bet on history. I'm going to bet on the data of what we've seen historically. So
yeah, if you're betting against history, then you're not even doing TA. You're shooting blanks in the dark and guessing. Yeah. Like price history is all you have. Price history is a measure of human behavior. It's a measure of interest. It's a measure of money, and so on and so forth. And I think not enough people think that. I think we front run it. I 100% like it. I won't say 100%. I'll say I think it's more like 80-20. That's my conviction level on it. I think we front run it. I mean, this to me is screaming 25K Bitcoin, down to 21K Bitcoin all over again. Mm-hmm. You got people in the comment section who even recognize the area, which is even more telling to me. That everybody's seeing that same zone and everybody's targeting that same area of liquidity. And when everybody targets the same area of liquidity, guess what? The market maker doesn't give it to you. They tend to take it away. So that's my thoughts on that. Can I borrow the chart for a minute there, Tucker? I just want to touch on it. And then I'd like to hear some more from Louis because we don't get him on here every day. So
yeah, pull it up.
Yeah, if you just throw me a chart real quick, I'll be real fast. Let me run over to actually BTC. Sorry, I didn't have the chart up, but I did want to touch on Bitcoin because I keep hearing, oh, it's still bullish. It's still bullish if it reaches into the 50s. No, it's not. It's absolutely not, because if you start breaking down, you've now moved into a failed shoulder, right? Now you're going to start doing this.
Will, real quick, if you're okay with it, man, we need to not look at anything constructive. We need to go over to the soybean chart. I have.
Oh no!
I have never in my life seen the likes so low. Literally since we've been doing this show, guys, we have 400 people on YouTube with 88 likes. Tucker, I'm gonna request that you pull up some junky commodity. The worst, the worst commodity you could just anything. Is there a hippo futures or something? I want giraffe meat futures, something.
I was gonna say lion meat futures.
Got to turn on the agriculture.
I like it.
Or we just put on people's back and watch them their favorite shitcoin bleed.
Guar gum.
I like dry wave futures. Dry wave futures would be good.
Yeah, guar gum. What is that? What's guar gum?
Dry wave futures is an interesting.
Just like the meme where they're holding.
What about natural rubber? Oh my god!
I know it.
Fill out an agreement.
Yeah, fill out the agreement, bro. Pay for it. Whatever it costs, pay for the data.
Whatever.
Give them whatever they want. Guys, I'm gonna need you to panic right now because I'm insulted. I take this personally. I feel as though the love has completely exited. There's a vacuum void of love and appreciation right now. We show up here every day not to look at cotton candy futures or lean hog futures or dry wave futures or milk futures, right? But to talk about unregistered digital securities, and to see the lack of the love in this dark void, this vacuum right now, guys. I feel like I feel very upset. I feel very upset. So guys, I'm gonna need you to do me a solid. Remind the BB crew how much you love them. All right. Don't just show up and watch the show. Actually help the show, help the channel. Express that approval of what we're doing here in the form of a like. It doesn't cost anything. It just takes one quick moment. If you're watching on YouTube and you're enjoying the content, hit that like button. Furthermore, if you're new here, consider subscribing. Also, the Twitter crew. If you're watching on Twitter, you're enjoying the content, not only hit that heart button, but do us a solid and actually hit that retweet button, guys. That retweet button is like 5 likes in one. If you're enjoying the content, if you're having fun, if you're learning something, spread the good word, hit that heart button, hit that retweet button, guys. It does wonders for the growth. I wouldn't badger and berate you guys to do this every single day if it didn't make a huge difference. I one day dream to live in a world where we don't have to get likes on our content to grow. That's what I dream of, but that's not the world that we live in. So I'm going to need you guys to actually hit that like button for us. Let's see how we're doing here. Okay. 194 likes on YouTube. Guys, you ran it up. See what you're capable of. The problem is you guys come through too much, so I know what you're capable of when you give it your all. So it's like when we don't get a lot of likes, I'm like, I've seen what they're capable of. They could easily rip us through to like 200 likes. You know what I mean? But anyways, all right, this is a great setup here, Tucker, but we did get enough likes. We're going to go back to Will now. Will, I apologize for having to cut you off, Will. Like, seriously,
No,
I am sorry, but I couldn't let you continue with the state of the likes. I couldn't allow for that. You know what I mean? I couldn't do it. But here you go, Will.
Yeah, I tend to think that people don't look at support resistance and then sit there and think that it's still healthy to go into a downtrend in the certain liquidity zones. You get into 50s, you're essentially just leveling down at that point. You're basically in a new paradigm of price. And that new paradigm of price would more than likely be a failed shoulder and some kind of start of a downtrend. I don't think at all that if you hit in the 50s that you would theoretically be looking to bounce back out of that to the upside. I would think that you're basically stair-stepping down. We have to understand what a stair-step looks like versus like what a reversal looks like, right? Or an uptrend or so on and so forth. This is a divide between two areas of liquidity right here. This is a divide between two areas of liquidity here. And arguably this right here has already formed out its two areas of liquidity. You have to remain within that liquidity zone. Could you dip? Sure, we've already seen that, right? But you have to remain within this liquidity zone. And so, where we are now from, and especially with what Louis was stating, which I think is very important here, is from body candle to body candle, you are in that mid-range. And we always have to tend to remember, as long as you remain in that mid-range, you should never anticipate a drop below that mid-range until you get confirmation of a drop below that mid-range, right? I don't know who lives in Chicago, but
that's me. I'm in Brooklyn.
No, I'm just playing. But if we got to break below, you're now going to start playing here, right? Now, granted, as long as you remain here, you're good because you're just going to do this and keep shifting. But think of it like a POC, for those of you who understand a POC, point of control, where the most interest lies in the chart. It always lies in the middle of the chart. This is the middle of this range, right? It's your strongest position for support. It's your strongest position for resistance. You level down, you've now created your last support as resistance, and that's a hefty resistance at that point. You have to remain in this liquidity area. You have to. Otherwise, you're going to be extended period sideways in a downtrend stair step down. So for me, I think as long as we remain up here, which we are, right? There's no reason to talk about any price below 65K. Absolutely none. I'm not even going to entertain it. I will entertain it when price actually breaks below 65K. And then I'll look for what? I'll look for the low end range, 60K, 61K. That's where I'll look for there. Without a break, there's no reason to even entertain it. Once that happens, then I'll look and I'll be like, all right, if we pop back up, I know where your resistance is going to be. You're going to start resisting again at 65. Or you'll get God mode, which is what everybody thinks is going to happen, right? Some kind of reversal back out of 60. Like they're just going to, ooh, exactly what we expected. Yeah, everybody expects that. Everybody thinks that. And I just don't see it. Like here's the thing right here. So everybody wants the same thing to happen every time, right? They're like, oh, it happened here, it's gonna happen again. So everybody wants the range to be played out just like it was here, where you had the upside range, then you had the downside range, then you had the upside range, then you had the downside range, and then you had breakout. This history rhymes, but it doesn't repeat. I don't think we're going back down. I think when you look at this from a structural standpoint, we're going to basically veer out of this like this, while everybody looks for the W. It's all there for me. What's up?
I don't want to cut you off. Just let me know, please, when you're finished.
Oh, I'm good. You can jump in there.
Guys, I shared the chart. It has never been so over as it is right now.
Dude, what is with all these freaks coming into crypto suddenly?
That's one thing I've been noticing over the last month or two. I don't like that. That's like, it's just like
that tattoo will cost you 10 grand. That's it.
What is this guy doing?
It has never been so over, man.
We'll look back and be like, the signs were there. You know?
Yeah.
The signs were there.
This shit is
Oh,
and Jackus,
no.
I wanna get your thoughts on this, Jackus, because I know that you're high time frame bullish. Structurally, you're bullish. You're expecting higher prices, but then there's some shit like this that happens, right? Does this make you question your high time frame bias for crypto at all, or does it not really matter?
Like, it does matter. Again, I think it comes to the point where everyone just gone mad, and I think it's important really this cycle to distinguish things like Bitcoin and ETH and the rest of the shitcoins, right? Because it went out of hand right now. And I think what is going to happen is that they will set we need to wait for the regulatory clarity. That's all the market is waiting for. And when they do, they will probably set a clean, well, hopefully some framework, what is allowed, what is not allowed. Like, hey, celebrities, you cannot just, do this or that. And I think after that, we will finally see the direction to change to the utility things. But until then, it's really just Bitcoin and ETH at this point. Because so my higher time frame take, Max, it remains bullish when we speak of BTC and ETH, right? But when we speak of some shit coins like AVAX or so, no idea, man. And with this forehead tattoo on Solana, I don't know, man.
Is that real or is that Sharpie? Did he actually?
No, that's real. That just popped off. That just popped off on Twitter. It's everywhere on Twitter.
Dude, look at that guy's face. He's got shit all over his face.
It's Lil Pump.
Yeah, it's Lil Pump.
What a clown, bro. Literally, look at his face, bro. Why would you do that to yourself?
He'll do anything for money.
Max,
Did
have
he
I
even get
told
paid?
you my rule of thumb about people with neck and face tattoos?
Maybe.
Never mess with them. Never mess with them. Because if somebody is capable of putting a
no.
tattoo on their face or neck, they are capable of just about anything else.
That's true.
That's true.
That's fair.
Oh, Solana's getting nuked low key.
Bitcoin.
I mean, this is what's getting Solana nuked right now.
Somebody's watching this stream and just immediately market sold 5 million SOL.
He's like, this is bad. Look at the eyes, man.
the real question was, did anybody not expect this to start happening?
Guys,
this is just wave one. This
Will.
is the D-list celebrities. Wait till the A-list celebrities. come.
Will, I just want you to know that I just filled out the agreement and I now have the access to natural rubber futures.
Oh,
So-
What?
Yeah, I had to
My man.
sign away my life, but it's all good. It's all good. Now I can't stop looking at it, honestly. It kind of looks like a chart Will would buy, low-key.
I don't even know what's going on here, man.
What is happening, Jackus?
I have no idea.
Let's let Louis cook a little bit, even though his face keeps getting covered up.
I'm
You
hungry.
know who said they were coming on the show today?
That was supposed
Evan
to
Casey.
I'm
said
saying by
yesterday.
the comments. That's what I'm saying.
I was just thinking about that.
Evan, at this point, all right, he picked up a lot of Snickers this year. He picked up a lot.
He doesn't deserve his name mentioned anymore until he does something.
Yeah.
That's
We're gonna bring Evan Casey on, and then the entire market's just gonna gig ascend immediately.
We have this banner saved from so long ago.
Yeah, we're actually losing this right now.
Mhm.
This is the
do we
median
think
here.
about
I think we
Pepe
actually
here?
might be losing this.
Louis,
Huh?
what do we think about Pepe here?
Let's see.
We got a request for it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not able. I gotta get like another screen so I could like look at the comments and like charts.
Honestly, I would say look at Mog and just mimic it.
Honestly, just sell everything and leave crypto, guys. It's over.
So
That's an old banner, man.
This is the first this is like the oldest banner we have.
That's still gonna happen, by the way.
Matic to 25
That's still
cents.
gonna happen.
You remember when
Clearly,
we spent,
nobody
like-
is buying Matic, and there are infinite sellers.
You remember when we spent like 2 months only shorting Matic, like
Yeah.
every single day? That's all we did.
I should have never
The
ended.
whole thing.
I still have Matic charts with lines drawn down to like 5 cents.
You know, I kind of invoked some nostalgia this week, right?
Oh, I know.
I gave a little boop to Matic earlier in the week, but for old time's sake.
That's nice.
All right,
That's
well-
heartwarming.
We did lose this trend, which isn't a great sign. That's one. We got rejected at this 1618, like Tucker called out. We should have just sold it all then, huh?
Indeed, Louis.
Down to 33%. Basically,
Right on the lower back, Mr. Smith. It's nice.
I'd want to see this hold. If not, we're back here, and then we already got our retest here. So to come down and test this a second time, we can, but this would be our line in the sand. If we lose this green box, then it's not looking good for Pepe for sure. But I mean, we still don't have a lot of volume here. Volume's coming down. It's not much. So
No, but vol drop in the support though, Louis. Wouldn't you say that's kind of bullish?
no, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So right now, we're not seeing big selling volume. We're seeing low volume. So like it's still like a consolidation before like a next like higher type volume. So that's the only thing that's looking good right now. I mean, we technically are in a falling wedge here, and we're coming into demand. So this was kind of be, this is the area. This is the line in the sand right here. This is where you want to see hold.
So Louis, what you're saying is to panic sell right into demand is what you're saying.
Market sentiment would probably cause most people to sell a dip into this area for sure, and that's where smart money comes in, buys it all up because they probably, this would actually be, if it came back here, the box is there, right? But this is an order block, so if they sent it up, people try to buy the breakout. Now they're trapped up in all this that they've been bleeding ever since. They come back, revisit the order block, and then go for the real move. That's another possible scenario too.
Could you do a replay before that breakout?
Yeah.
Just right before it.
I haven't done that in a while. Where is that again?
Top, very top. Yep, right there. No,
Like
more
here
to the
before
right.
this?
No. To the right before that. Yep. So if you look there, show them the vol drop.
Yeah.
Just for the audience's sake, so you understand how vol drop works, it means sellers and buyers are going away. And when you get vol drop into a drop in price, expect a punt or a spike, because that means there's no more market interest to trade the asset, and the asset is at a lull state. When an asset moves into a lull state, market makers then act. They force price into the opposite direction of price direction. So this is why build longs and build shorts are very important to vol drop, because if your volume's dropping and you're building long, you're probably going to fall, right? If your volume's dropping and you're building short, you're probably going to break out to an extreme measure. And then go ahead and hit the play button at the bottom there. Yeah. And then after that vol drop, this is what you saw.
Yep.
This is why you have to watch for that vol drop, just for the audience's sake, so you guys understand how this works. And you can see there now price is moving back into the low end range. And again, can you draw the overall trend of volume right now with that, following that, just so they can see that new vol drop? That's your new vol drop right now, with price dropping in the vol drop. For me, I think PayPay is coming into support for a breakout.
Yeah. That would be my
Well,
base
you're
case, too.
viewing this as like a golden opportunity, like this region, somewhere around here.
Yeah, somewhere's around there. I mean, it could go a little deeper, but I think you're at the low end range to where it's worth starting to bid at least, right?
Yeah.
Or
This
at
is your
least
bid zone right in here.
And this is basically just looking at volume to price direction.
Yeah, I remember that when we got above this green, I really put out a tweet and I was like, listen, above this green, we're bullish. And then we started getting that pullback. Everyone started panicking. And I was pointing out that declining volume. I was like, declining volume into demand is very bullish.
Yep.
Because that's when buyers step in and they punt it. So,
Yep.
I mean,
And you can see the support there too. Like they got a clear support off of the previous vol drop area. And with that being said, they could drop down theoretically and hit that lower range of what you have marked there as a green box, Louis. But in reality, this is where you should start bidding. And if they move down, it's going to be a stair step down and then a breakout.
Yeah. I mean, and we're at market structure here too, so they could even front run it, and this could be our new demand here. So I wouldn't be surprised if
why
it
you start.
did hold here.
Yeah. This is why you never look for exact pricing. That's why people are sitting there talking about 61 Bitcoin. It's like theoretically, yes, you could get it, but you should start positioning before it ever gets there.
It's all zones. It's not like when I have a trend line or have a box, those are price areas. You know what I mean? Nothing's going to be exact.
You can honestly tell. I just want to point this out. You can tell seasoned traders from non-seasoned traders through one thing and one thing only: when they look for a specific price and do not position until that price. A seasoned trader is going to start dialing into the market as they get towards their price zone. An unseasoned trader, a new trader, is going to try and go all in on their exact price zone. And it's the same thing with sizing into a position. Like, you could tell people in this market don't understand how to size into a position. They don't know that you can go in a little bit at a time and start buying the sells to be able to kind of mask your positioning and buy into a position. They also don't know how to size into a leverage position, which Tommy is pretty good at too. A lot of people in this market have no clue how to size into a leverage position. They just want to go all in on leverage.
We got a similar look on Andy too. I mean, they're probably going to look very similar because it's more of that beta play, but same thing here. We got declining volume coming into demand here. And we have this kind of falling wedge type pattern. Look, this is designed to look at all these wicks. Look at all this price action up and down, up and down. These
it's designed as a shakeout.
But yeah, they're designed to bring you to all the extremes of emotions within a short period of time, where you're pulling your hair out and say, I'm done, I'm out of this. Like, I can't take it anymore. And then by the time you are, that's when they send it. That's how it's designed.
And then you buy back in higher, trying to get your entry again. Like, oh man, I lost part of my position.
Yep.
And then they do it again. It's psychology 101. It's not a hard thing to see. Charts are all psychology. That's all they are.
It's human emotion, fear and greed, printed on a chart.
Yes, sir.
That's really what it is. But yeah, same thing with Andy. You know, we even came down and wicked this today. I could see this being somewhat of the low here. We capture this neckline. I mean, depending on what the overall market does, of course, but break this wedge, reclaim this neckline, and then see you later. Break this double top collars and disbelief, and we'll see the next leg. But you know, market has to cooperate for that to happen. But,
I view a lot of these altcoins as, you know, you can see very clearly, Louis, right? Like you got two consolidations on both Pepe and Andy, and a lot of these other on-chain coins. If you were to look at something like Bitcoin in the 2017, 2018 cycle, you can see a lot of these patterns play out, right? They do 2 or 3 of these consolidations where they mark up into each consolidation, and then finally, once those are done, they end up giving that parabolic leg higher, which is kind of what I see across, at least in strong alts. I feel like you can see this pattern playing out.
Yeah. I would say the same time. Yeah, I think you need to have real strength in a coin for this pattern to start playing. But I think once it starts playing, you can basically repeat this over and over and over again. Like just and you could see on the volume too, Louis, like you could see the declining volume, but you could see the rip upside and then the decline. And a lot of these did print bear days at the highs if people were willing to look for them.
let's just look at
on the other
Bitcoin on a larger time frame. You have the same thing. Like nothing's look at the volume. It's the same thing. We made a high,
Just drop.
and now we're just consolidating. There's nothing's been going on. This is just consolidation volume. So whether we, this is just a chart pattern. This can be an inverse head and shoulder continuation. But so whether we keep this is the shoulder high and tight here, or we drop down, make a deeper shoulder, we're still in consolidation territory here. Until we get a volume bar, they start coming up like this. Okay, then and we start dropping. Then sure, okay, so maybe we are falling out of this consolidation. We are heading lower, but until then, we're in consolidation territory, and you kind of just got to deal with the chop.
Yep. Yeah, I tend to agree with that. Again, volume is very key, as well as RSI, right? So relative strength is key with the volume. Like if you put the two together, they'll tell you the whole story. They'll tell you the whole story of what's actually occurring here.
What is that metric on the bottom?
This is OBV.
Mm.
I don't use it much anymore. I used to use it a lot more during the bear market. It seemed to be a lot more useful. Just
How does it line up with the
scalping?
How does it line up with the consolidation we had last summer? I'm curious, like behaviorally. I guess they're very different, but
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping they'd be the same.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was just kind of ranging sideways. It wasn't making new highs. It wasn't making new lows. It was kind of just following the price action, which is normal. Like if we saw this and we saw OBV like all the way down here, like we lost this low, that'd be a little more concerning. But this looks like consolidation.
Yeah, this looks more like an uptrend, whereas at 25 to 30K, the OBV looked like a little bit more. There was probably a little bit more uncertainty in whether or not we were in a full-blown bull trend at that point. But
Right. Yeah, but I mean, right now this is just volume consolidating. Like even the OBV showing there's not much volume here. We're just we had our leg where we have healthy higher highs on the OBV, healthy uptrend. And we haven't lost any of those, and now we're just chopping here, and we're waiting for that next influx of volume and buyers to come in. That's really all we're waiting for.
What did OBV look like in 21?
Let's see.
Like, how does OBV top? All right, we're good. We're chilling.
So we started making lower highs here. I mean, then even on this,
Look at
even on this move up, we didn't even return back to the highs.
Look at that little like shoulder before it went to the highs in 21.
Yeah,
there.
here. Yeah.
Yeah, right there. Right
Yep.
there. Yes. Yes. You are literally right there.
That's literally kind of what we look like.
What is that? What month is that? December 2020?
Yeah, that's
No, left,
January.
more left on OBV, right?
Yeah.
Like right
Yeah,
there.
that's right
Yes.
here. Yeah, it looks. We even
Yeah.
have kind of like kind of like somewhat of a head and shoulders continuation here. Not as pretty, but yeah,
Bro.
up move
we're literally
consolidation before the big
Yes.
leg here.
December 2020 OBV. Study it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I'm really liking though how these high caps are like almost pulling the same move Bitcoin is pulling here, because it means that when Bitcoin moves, these are going to probably move too. All these high cap meme coins.
That's an interesting discussion, I think, that's worth having here as we come into the end of the show. What do we think is going to be, because it's easy to say that meme coins will be the sector that once again catches the fastest bid out of the blocks if Bitcoin is going to break out. Do we all still think that's the case, though, here? As we continue to just kind of simmer in this range, obviously some VC scam coins are giving some setups that look a bit more constructive than a few weeks ago as well. Not saying every meme coin is going to catch that same level of bid, because you can look across the board and Pepe looks great, but something like Floki really doesn't. But do we think that there is going to be, I hate to even say it, like a return to fundamental crypto assets as far as the bid goes, if and when Bitcoin breaks out, or do we think it's going to remain on meme coins? I think it's an important conversation to have, because I don't know that since Bitcoin, since Bitcoin broke out from the ETF range, that was really the leg where meme coins ran with Bitcoin. Is it going to be the same on the next leg, or are we going to see maybe something more like when the ETF narrative first came out? And obviously VC scams were the much larger bid versus memes.
If you were
I
to
think
ask
it's,
me, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, if you were to ask me on this, the way the chart's set up and just purely off the chart, I would say yes, they'll move with Bitcoin. I'll just keep it simple, short. You got Jackus.
I was just gonna say that I do not think until regulatory clarity comes, we will see a shift to fundamentals. It won't happen until then. I'm so convinced of that.
Do you think part of it too, Jackus, is because part of it to me is I think the two of the fundamental issues with these quote unquote fundamental coins are that, one, they're at valuations where no retail investor is interested in actually buying them. And then two, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, they're not actually building any product for crypto users to use. And I feel like, people talk about the lack of innovation this cycle. We've had plenty of new launches, but if you were to ask me, something like Celestia, any of the modularity coins or Ondo, what can I even do with them? Like, they exist and they have a quote unquote fundamental utility that I can't even use as somebody, or like I can't do anything about the fact that these coins have a quote unquote fundamental value. So I think part of it needs to, there needs to be a level of value that can be attained by users from actually using these products. And I'm getting alarms, I'm assuming because the market's nuking, but
Yeah.
I mean, either the products have to get cheaper so that retail is actually interested in investing in those fundamentals, or there needs to be we've seen apps do really well over the last few months of this cycle. Things like, oh my God, I'm having a lot of alerts go off, but things like Jupiter, things like Hyperliquid, these are things that are actually attracting, current usage from crypto natives, where, you can just throw fundamentals, the word fundamentals on a coin, but there's not actually anything that you can do, other than just trade the coin. So
Tom is getting distracted by his lower positions.
I'm gonna have to silence all my alerts, man.
Nobody wants to buy Pepe here, man. They all like Chad Pepe up here, but you get ugly Pepe down here, man. You can't help it.
Yeah,
All right,
Timo,
we're going to the FEG.
I've
No
never
utility
seen
for
this
Chad.
one before, but it is hilarious.
What is that, man?
I don't know.
That
It's
looks like
Angry
it
Pepe.
the coin.
Angry Pepe on meth.
I want to be able to speculate on that face. No.
I mean, jeez, man. I just don't want the 0 deleted. I'll take that line right there, 102.
I kind of think we might lose a 0 really quickly, honestly. And I think that's your trigger to like top up your bag if you're looking for the entry.
That's your line. Wait, where it is? I had.
All this week's lows were just taken on Bitcoin. I want to see if we reclaim it.
Wait, no.
I mean, we're holding the
I got it,
mid range
I got it.
really well.
Oh, this is gonna be good, guys.
They're gonna have to
Yeah,
really
here it
pressure
is.
this to break that mid range.
Here it is. Here it is, boys. This is the spot.
Yeah, that's what I'm watching too. I agree. If you
It's this.
it's hold, that's do or die right there.
I kind of think I kind of think we go deeper, honestly.
Max.
No, I know. I kind of think we backfill most of that inefficiency there, Tucker, like to the left, that sparked the move up.
This guy just called us lemons.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
We are in July
Grab a Snickers.
2019, silly lemons. So we're right now, the Fed is cutting right now, like in July of 2019. That's what's happening.
Wow, whiff is nuking.
I mean, are you surprised? That's the question.
This,
I mean, we've been
really?
talking about this in the Discord, but like, whiff
What?
is weak as hell.
Bro, all I've been watching is this whip bleed
Yeah.
perpetually against everything. I have a feeling an event is coming for whiff. I just don't know what it is.
Looks like
I think
Solana
I-
in general. I think like what if we got like a huge like Solana freaking like just nuke.
What do you guys think about an event coming for whiff?
an event. I mean,
Yeah.
Like a good one or a bad one?
A good one, because usually like when you get this kind of like hatred towards a coin, then you get like some weird thing like, oh, we're gonna put our face on the globe in Vegas.
Maybe not quite that.
send it back to $1, man. Send it
Maybe
back
not quite
to
that deep,
$1.
but I mean, I do think that it literally, the WIF structure right now looks exactly like one of those consolidations on Bitcoin I was talking about from the 2017, 2018 cycle. And if that's the case, you probably will get some sort of dive bomb candle over the next few days, next week. And then the buyback, I told WIF holders, like, go into a coma for a week. That's how I feel. Like you could see a weekly candle maybe with 20-25% lower than current prices and then still be right back at these prices, at this time next week. So
Yeah.
You scoop that 150 maybe.
I could see that, honestly, man. Like, as long as Bitcoin is just kind of teetering here, and if it does go down to 64, like, you have to be prepared. Like, that Bitcoin dip is like nothing, right? Bitcoin going to 64K is nothing, but you have to know that if you're holding a lot of alts, you're going to get eviscerated. But then when Bitcoin finally recovers, it's going to eat through all of that evisceration quickly. So it's just kind of that phase, like, you have to be okay with that if you're holding alts. Like, if you're positioned in alts and you're just like, I'm going to hold it through the cycle, which is mostly what I'm doing right now. It's like, you have to know what Bitcoin uncertainty implies for your altcoin bags,
Somebody just said Bitcoin just collapsed. Collapsed.
That was a collapse.
I'll just say it, like, I'm still up 31K in the past 3 days, so I'm not.
Yeah, study microcaps, man. Micro caps
What
aren't
are
moving
people
at
even
all.
talking about? Right?
Yeah.
I'm kind of proud of us for not mentioning one micro cap in particular one time on this show.
And I
Will's
mean,
literally
strength
about
is
to.
strength to strength, you know. Fight the strength all you want, doesn't matter because it's not coming down with Bitcoin. I'll tell you that.
It's a strong coin. Honestly, the bigger the coin is, the more likely it's going to be exposed to Bitcoin correlation. That's just always been the case with these on-chain tokens.
Which means boring. That's what that means.
Comments, no.
I'm looking for excitement, man. I'm looking to be down 90% one day and up like 3,000 the next. All right.
0.5 and then higher. 0.5 and then 1.618. Study it. Where's June 21st?
I'm still not ruling out an overshoot on the corn, man. I'm still not
ruling it out.
I think the range lows are safe regardless. So it's just a matter of like, you know, are we going to bottom here? Are we going to bottom 64? Are we going to bottom at 60? Like, it's just a time thing for me. Like, I was saying this in the Discord this morning that really the only bearish thesis I can come up with is that the market's not ready yet, and that it's like we just need more time. But I don't really see any. I don't see bearish arguments on structure and price yet. More so on time, which doesn't even really feel that bearish. But you know, when you're on a show that talks about markets every day, obviously that gets magnified a little bit. So. The comments, man.
I know. It is strong, brother. It is strong. You're not wrong, Gabe. You're not wrong. You're not.
At the end of the
wrong.
day, it's either you're here for the cycle or you're not. You know, like if you want all the big upside that comes with crypto, you got to be able to deal with the local volatility and you got to be able to deal with downside. You can't have one without the other. So if you're here to play an Bitcoin and altcoin cycle, that's part of it. It's why most people don't. Most people don't make money doing it, and that's why most people lose money doing it because they can't handle it. They want to get rich overnight. That's why, you know, we talk markets. We're here. We're showing you guys day-to-day analysis. So it does sometimes. It feels like some days we come up here and we're basically saying the same thing over and over again. But to us, it doesn't really matter because we know where the ultimate long-term market swing is heading. The day-to-day stuff, yeah, we might play it here and there, but at the end of the day, we're taking the bigger ride. So it's either you're able to handle that and hold on, or you're not. So that's for you to decide.
Max, how low do you think PP will go? I mean, look, man, it's I like the level that Louis had. I could share a chart if you want, but I do think it's possible for it to give back that zero, just for a very small period of time. Like, it doesn't structurally tamper with the high time frame uptrend. Like, I think things still look totally fine. But I am definitely prepared mentally for Pepe to pull back from its all-time high, like 50%. You know what I mean? 45, 50%, something like that. So I think it's possible, even like right in there, like a wick down to there would not surprise me.
Somebody call an ambulance. Somebody call an ambulance.
So yeah, I mean, I think that's
and it's for me.
I think that would be totally possible, man. You know, for me, it's like I'm positioned in spot for much lower, and like I committed to this bag during the bear market, and I'm doing my best to have it qualify for long-term capital gains. So I don't even have the luxury of trying to shave if I want to, because I don't want to screw myself there. So I'm not touching it. But depending on where you live, you know, you could dance around it a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, you have to expect with something like Pepe, which is one of the stronger coins, in my opinion. It's still going to Deca Billions this cycle. It's being pushed by exchanges. It's also shown through turbulence that it can be the most reflexive. The that reflexivity works both ways. Like it's going to pump the hardest, but it's also going to nuke really, really hard. So in my opinion, Bitcoin can pull back 10, 15%, and Pepe can nuke 45 to 55%, and it'll recover really quickly. But you need to be prepared for that. Like Louis said, it's not fair of you to hold something that you believe can 10x quickly, but not be prepared for volatility to the downside as well. Gut wrenching volatility. So I would be looking for that 1000 level to hold, but maybe a little wick underneath. It wouldn't surprise me. But I think if you're looking to like DCA, you could slowly DCA from here over the next couple weeks, and kind of help carve out that bottom, start filling here to maybe that white line that Tucker has. Cause you don't know exactly how deep it's going to go. But yeah. Max, how about Andy? How low you think it can go? I want to ape in. It's hard to say, right? It's already off of its highs, but I would say, and again, like there's no guarantees, like it's hard to say, but I mean, I would be looking at like that 50% pullback potentially. So, more or less retesting the previous all-time high before the last breakout, like somewhere in that region. But it depends on ETH, right? Like if ETH finds, like if ETH turns around quickly here, like you're not going to get your deep fill on Pepe or Andy, right? Like what we really need to look at is ETH. So maybe Tucker, you could pull up ETH real quick, because like that's really what you're trading with all this stuff. So, let's get ETH up here.
Bloody nuance. All right, here we go.
Whenever you're ready. There you go.
Right.
So if ETH springs out of this level right here, everything's going to spring back, right? Like I don't know how much time we spend down here. If we spend the next 2 weeks sitting at support, altcoins are going to get destroyed. Like your altcoins are going to get destroyed. You need ETH to be quick off of this level and bottom quickly. Otherwise, your alts are just going to slow bleed, and it's going to be so painful. But if ETH can spring back quickly here, even this month, then the bottom's in on everything. You know what I mean? But it's dependent on ETH. So we'll be watching ETH closely. But yeah, I would just assume that your altcoins are going to bleed a little bit as long as ETH is below, 3,500. But if you can get back up there, then, bottom's in. So depends on ETH.
Good old ETH. I'm not going to
not good old ETH. Fucking bitch
I'm not
ass
gonna
ETH.
it, but it looks like
ass ETH, bro.
ETH is always causing everybody problems, man. It's been nothing but a thorn in the side this entire cycle.
Yeah. When ETF, man. When ETF. Seriously.
The ETF will be. I mean, it's gone from it got priced in within the span of 2 days. It's probably now maybe a short-term sell the news event. Now everybody thinks it's going to be a sell the news event because we're dumping. It's going to be a buy the news event. And a pretty big.
For sure. I'm talking.
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
like we already had approval. Like this was your candle, right? Like now you're literally just gonna get passive bids. Like how is that a sell the news? Like, nah. It's bullish. Okay, it's bullish. There's no way around it.
Wow.
ETH has face.
Great
tap.
callback.
Yeah.
That was a great callback. That was really nice.
We've been running for about an hour 20, guys. I think it's a pretty good spot to begin wrapping up here for the weekend. Yeah, some interesting candles here as we begin to wrap up the show. This is right near the level where we said to be looking for reaction. So I'm going to be very curious to see how the corn and how our altcoins trade around these levels. But yeah, guys, sorry, I just had some stimmy, so getting like the carbonation bubbles in my coming out of me. But yeah, guys, a few housekeeping measures as always before we wrap up and send you on your merry way. A reminder that we have just launched our new hedge fund, BB Wealth Management. That is a crypto, digital asset focused hedge fund, long and short as well, are capable of trading long and short, run by the BB team. And yeah, guys, like I said, we are capable of trading both ways. We specialize in digital assets, and we do so in a way that takes into account both crypto's historic propensity for upside, as well as the investment risk posed in any market. So if becoming an LP, becoming an accredited investor is something that would interest you, we do have more details linked in the description of this video. We will reach out to you if you shoot us an email, send you any details that you might need. But it is really exciting, not just for us to be able to finally begin trading it, but also that we can offer it to you guys as well, the audience, if that is something that interests you. Not to forget the BB Academy, guys. Super valuable educational tidbits from everybody on the team. And as I always point out, we all have very, very different styles of trading. I think that's where the real value of BB Academy is. The current price is $4.99. So if you are interested in that, we do have a link in the description of this video. But sorry guys, it's a Friday. I'm getting to the weekend a little bit too early, but great value for the BB Academy. I just, from everybody who's already been through it and seen it, gotten a lot of compliments. So I cannot recommend that enough. I'm just looking at the super chat that we just got sent. But yeah, guys, on to programming, on a more serious note. Market check for all of our market check. Enjoy yours. We will be back on Monday. A reminder that we are live Monday through Friday of every single week with a typical start time around 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We talk markets. We sometimes attack the audience. We have debates. We have a lot of fun, as you guys can see, especially if you've been following this show for as long as some of you have. But we really enjoy, cooking for you guys every morning. And of course, we will be back for another episode on Monday. Reminder at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Not to forget Market Talk, hosted by the legendary King Wabi, guys. He does a great job on those spaces, and similar to Market Check, can take a variety of different flavors, right? You can have people speaking that talk about macro, meme coins, crypto, and everything in between. So make sure to check that out for more market content, especially on a Friday, right? Before you're going on a weekend, you might not have as much market content over the next few days. Not a bad spot to stop in to close off your week. So I would recommend that as well. But timing of his spaces can vary a little bit, so make sure to stay following Because Bitcoin on Twitter and subscribe so that you can be notified not just when we schedule our spaces, but also when we go live. But that is it, guys. That is it from us. It's been a very interesting week for markets. I'm sure next week will be no different. We continue this never-ending range on Bitcoin, while at least equities look like they want to start breaking out here over the next few weeks. So it does look like there's going to be exciting times in the markets ahead of us. Just might take a little bit more patience across the board, right? So we will see what we got on Monday when we get back. If you're in the Discord, I'm sure we'll see you in there over the weekend. But y'all have a great rest of your Friday, a fantastic rest of your week. And as always, guys, thanks again and stay safe.